Now we are going to take you to the land of Italy and show you a very nice recipe called risotto. For this, I'm going to consult my book, which has the recipe in it, a kaleidoscope of sensory delights. For this recipe, we will be needing about 1.5 cups of arborio rice. Now, this rice is available now in India, but I have made this recipe with jeera rice, which is very readily available in Bombay. Then we have 2 cups of fresh mushrooms, which have been chopped well. We have 1 onion, which is chopped fine. We have 5 cloves of garlic, which have been chopped fine. Butter or oil. But today I'm going to use butter as well as oil, because when the butter starts melting and if there is a little oil in it, it splutters less and the taste is a little better. Then we have vegetable stock cubes. Now these are Maggi cubes, which are vegetarian and available in the market. If you don't want to use them, you can use fresh vegetable stock. If you don't want to use fresh vegetable stock, water is always available. Then we have wine, which is about 1/2 cup of white wine. Again, this is optional. If you drink and if you enjoy it, then do add the wine. It does give it a distinct taste. Now I'll let you into a secret. Sometimes I don't have a white wine open, or I don't have white wine at home, then I just add red wine, and the color that comes is also very, very nice with it. And then we shall be adding 1/2 cup of cream. For the seasonings, there's salt, red chili powder and black pepper. And for toppings, that's Parmesan cheese, which is grated. Now another small secret is that if you don't have Parmesan cheese, don't sprinkle any other cheese on top, because it really doesn't give it that same feel. So get Parmesan, it stays very well in the refrigerator, and you can grate it and keep it and use it for all your pasta dishes. Then we have parsley chopped and we have olives chopped. We are first going to dissolve the Maggi cubes into 3 cups of water. So we're going to let this dissolve nicely. My pot is heating up. To this I'm adding butter, as well as oil. So 2 tablespoons butter, 2 tablespoons of oil. Wait for the butter to melt. Now we will saute the onions. And the garlic till just opaque. We need not brown them at all. Now you can see that they've become opaque. And now we will add the mushrooms. If you are not fond of mushrooms or don't eat them, then you can use any type of mixed vegetable. Just mix well. Now what I didn't realize was that this pot is too small for my recipe. So I'm going to remove this pot and I'm going to add the larger one onto the stove. And I'm going to pour all this out into the larger pan. Sorry about that, but that's how you live and learn. Now, as you can see that these mushrooms have wilted a little and they are more or less dry now, quite dry and just not dead as yet. We don't want them dead, and they are just firm but a little soft. So to this we will now add the washed and dried rice. And stir fry just to mix it well. Wow, this looks so good. So we're adding 1/2 cup of wine. And we let it cook. Now one thing about this dish is that it cannot be covered. It has to be cooked open, and once it is cooked, it's best served fresh then and there. So if you are a little skeptical about how will you cook it, how will you get it to your guests on time, it doesn't take too long. You just have to make it about half an hour before you're ready to serve it to your guests, and that's fine. So, and it's not a long drawn time that you spend over the stove while your guests are waiting for the food. We'll give our vegetable broth a swirl, seeing it's all dissolved and ready to be used. So now our rice is dry, and we are gradually going to add the vegetable broth depending on how much we need. Now you see, every time how much water the rice will use depends on the rice quality. Secondly, if it's a very dry season, then the rice takes more water. If it is a very humid region, that rice takes a little less water. So you have to play it by ear and see how it goes. We don't want a mushy khichdi today of our risotto, do we? So just be a little careful and you'll master it. You let it boil. So again, our liquid is drying up and our rice is fluffing up a little, but it's still not totally done. We can feel it between our fingers. It's still a little raw. So we leave it for a little while. I'm going to add a little bit more of water of our stock. Give it a nice stir again and wait and watch. So now it's bubbling away and the water again has nearly dried up. So let's see if our rice is done. You take a little bit onto your spoon and just how, if it's, yes, it is just gently press between your fingers. It should just break easily and not be mushy at all. So our rice is done. Now to this I will be adding the cream, which is half a cup of cream. Our 200 grams is 1 cup, so half a cup would be half the packet of the 200 grams. I'm adding cream to this. Cream is what makes it very nice and creamy, obviously. And I'm going to mix this well again. And now go in the seasonings. Salt. Now be very careful with salt because we've put the broth in from the vegetable stocks. They already have salt. The wine is a little, well, not salty, but it still has the tanginess of the salt. So a very little salt, and you can always taste and put it again. Nicely crushed black pepper and some red chili flakes. Give it a nice mix again and see how well it is mingling well, and the cream has dried, the water has dried, and the wine of course has dried, and the rice is ready. And now we are ready to serve our dish. We will garnish it with chopped olives. Some Parmesan cheese. You can also serve Parmesan grated cheese on the side if anybody likes it more. Then they can have it. And some roughly chopped parsley. Not too much, just to give it that green color. I like to always put a little bit of the red chili powder onto a very white colored dish, so it looks very colorful and nice. So now our risotto is ready, and now I'm going to enjoy my risotto with a glass of white wine. But before that, I must sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on it, sprinkle my red peppers on it, and serve. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as I have enjoyed making this risotto for you. See you next time, and if you have any queries, then please email me at anutoshniwal@gmail.com. See you soon. Bye bye.